Hey everybody, Texas Stroker here, Alliance's Performance Shop, LoneStarMopars.com. It is Friday night, about 8:30, and guess where I was 30 minutes ago? Work. That's right, Friday night at work. And you'll never guess where I have to go early tomorrow morning. Anyone? If you guessed work, you're 100% correct. So basically, I've got what should be a really cool video, and I had planned to make it really good. And I'm in a severe time crunch now because I've got to film this thing, then I've got to edit it, and then the big time consumption for me, I have to have it uploaded before 9 a.m. tomorrow. And if you ever wonder, hey, how come this guy's talking about 8-foot snow drifts and it's July 17th? It's because I have to record stuff well in advance. Every once in a while, something special comes along, and I try to front load it. But the reason I'm able to have steady streams Wednesday and Saturday of videos, I have to treat this like a job and like prepare in advance. Otherwise, I would never get anything done because I have stuff like this. I thought this was going to be great Friday, had it all planned out. Boom. No. So, if you are new here, timestamps, links, they're down below. Do I make a dime if you go and you buy this thing? Absolutely not. The timestamps, if you want to revisit it, zero in on a certain area, come back to it. All done for your convenience and done late at night by yours truly. So, without further ado, we're going to jump into this. Again, I apologize. It's kind of rushed. Best of intentions. You're thinking like, man, just put it off. I was so confident I was going to have tonight to do this that I even sort of teased this thing. And what I teased is something that I picked up Wednesday from a Mac guy. I had some stuff that I was waiting to come in. He texted me he didn't have it, and I just, like, hey, you got the ratchets? These ratchets were supposed to come in, last I talked to him, in June. So kind of unexpected. I guess it's only like a month early now, but he said yes, and I was like, seriously? And I asked what he had, and this is what I picked. So, I know some of you are saying like, whoa, that's camera's wonky, buddy. That looks red. It is red, and I wish it was orange. The catch is, I had some of you predict I would have gotten orange, and you guessed what theoretically would have been correct. Unfortunately, my driver did not have anything in orange. I finally got to see a ratchet handle in green. He's always sold those out when they've come in the past, but let me jump back to the text and see what he told me. Let's see here. Of course, everything's 3/8 right now. If you're like, oh, hey, you know, I'm kind of liking where this is going. I'm going to get the quarter drive of that. Not available yet. When I talked to him, he wasn't sure if quarter or half was coming, but he thought it would be like in the fall, so maybe summerish. It's all subject to change. More on that as we go. He had a 9-inch flex, 2 13-inch flexes, and 3 18-inch flexes. I've got pictures somewhere, in addition to a whole bunch of crud from work today. But there is a rhyme to the reason here. Again, I just have to kind of wing everything, but here she is. We'll just go through here on the truck. Beautiful natural habitat for a short period in time. That's something I might buy. And then right there, that is the green. It should be the same matte green. If you've seen my pry bar handles that I got for work, it's that same color. It's sort of like the Alpha gloves. Discount code Lone Star saves you 20%. Gets you in some good gloves. And no, I don't make a dime off that either. It just saves you money. It looks really, really cool. I think I would personally prefer the orange. And if you're thinking like, hey, why didn't you get orange? He didn't have it. That's why. He had a couple bare metal handles, actually. And I think one green and maybe like a red 13-inch. Basically, he had to buy 2 of everything that was available. And what he wanted to do is get red. My guy's very simple. He gets red, especially with this, for reasons we're going to get into if you don't understand. But if you're thinking like, hey, that's just a Mac Axis. Oh, no. If you pay attention, and it might be harder to do with Mac, they don't hype stuff up super well. They had their big tool fair. If you're not like following your dealer or following them on social media, like, you would have no idea. This was just a few months ago in DC, and one of the things they debuted is a new Max90 Ratchet, and that's what you're looking at. You're thinking like, well, this is just an Axis, isn't it? And you're thinking back to something like this. Granted, that's 1/4 inch, or, you know, maybe like this, which would be the 13-inch 3/8 drive companion to that. And you're thinking like, well, what's the catch? Just get us the beans on this thing. So we'll come in right here if we can. It's very hard to do. And part number, if you want to harass your driver, dealer, call the ladies at Mac, whatever, and replicate this, you're looking for part number XR 1090FGR. That's right. Price point on this guy, $179, if I'm thinking correctly. Again, it's sort of pretty much in tier, as best I can tell, with the current Axis line. What this is the Max90 3/8 drive flex head comfort grip in red. So, again, 9-inch overall length, 3/8 drive, and it's a flex head. Okay. If we try to break this down for you, again, this is where I can maybe go wrong with what I do and spend a lot of time sort of like breaking it down thoroughly in part numbers so you can replicate it. I'll just do what I think is going on here. So XR 1090, what is 90? Okay, that's going to be our tooth count. F is going to be flex in Mac terms. Now here where you're thinking GR might be green, get that out of your mind for now, although you'll need to know it later, and think of G as like grip and then R for your color. So if you wanted this exact ratchet but with green, you'd be a GG. If you want this exact ratchet but in orange, you'd be a GO. You do get to a point where you will use GR, OR, and I think RD, and that is going to be for the grip. And you're like, that makes no sense, the grip. Well, amongst other improvements, if you haven't noticed, it's the grip. And I do apologize because we're bouncing all over the place. Again, I've not eaten anything. I've got to be up very early. It makes for a crunched situation. But there's a lot to go over here. You're thinking 90 tooth. What's the catch? Well, let's just come into the tag, the product flyer, if you will. In fact, to make your life easier and mine perhaps a little easier, I'm going to just rip that off for the first time. Could have used this yesterday and today at work, but I didn't. I made it pristine for this video. You're thinking like, okay, buddy, we've seen that. Well, you haven't seen that. There's the Max90. Again, Max90, Axis into Max90. This is your latest and greatest flagship from Mac. Up to 25% more torque. Well, is there any catch with that? Of course there is. Based on lab comparisons of, we're just going to come up here, ultimate torque versus comparable Mac Axis Ratchet. And that's really it. Unless there's something in here. There's not. Okay, there is. Hallelujah frickin' happy day. I had planned, to what extent did I try to plan this out? My dealer has nothing. I was looking for a flyer, a leaflet, something they could like text me or email me, nothing. I actually contacted Mac customer service and I was like, hey, you know, I've got one of your ratchets. I'm wanting to highlight the differences here. Can you provide me anything? And of course, if they are, I will probably get that Monday because it didn't come today. But this is important. This makes my life a little bit easier because this is brand new and quite frankly, I don't know. So I have to go by like the dealer, and since there's nothing on the website, nothing really online past social media posts, which are, I don't know, I have choice words there, but we'll just go with this because it's official. Innovative ratcheting system helps provide smooth engagement with minimal back drag. New reinforced flex head design to enhance life and reliability. Slim profile 90 tooth ratchet with 4-degree arc swing designed for maximum access. Again, I'm kind of assuming that's where Max90 come from. It's the only thing that makes sense to me. An easily replaceable and customizable comfort grip. You're thinking like, okay, cool. You know, so it's a revised, stronger 90 tooth ratchet, replaceable grip. So if the ratchet doesn't get you going, if you're happy with your Axis, which I am, you've got an upgraded ratchet, you've got supposedly upgraded strength, and you've got an upgraded handle. I will tell you right now, maybe we should have led the video off with this very tidbit of information. I love this handle. What was my complaint? What is almost always my complaint with any ratchet with a comfort grip? It doesn't go high enough. I'm like, oh, they missed it by a thumb. This one's really close. Man, that's really small. This is too dainty. It's not providing comfort. I just as well have a bare metal handle. This is good. You also, if you're a veteran viewer of the channel, should know I am a big fan of Mac Grip. Mac Grip screwdrivers. Mac Grip, there's a reason. I'm aware of the rebrands. I know what's going on. Why would I pay more money for a Mac branded iteration of a Mayhew Dominator product? Because of the handle. It's really that big of a deal to me. You can definitely get by. Mayhew makes great stuff. It's warranted. It's a good handle. I just personally like the Mac Grip better. If Matco had it, if Snap-on had it, if Koken had it, if Harbor Freight had it, I'd say the same thing. All right. What Mac does with their handles suits me quite nicely. This is no exception. Granted, have we had any seat time with this thing yet? No, we haven't, because I wanted to keep it in good condition for this video so it makes a good impression on you instead of coming in covered in anise, grease, and dirt. So when I grabbed this, my driver handed it to me. We went fishing around trying to find it, and I love it. This is phenomenal. Is it too short? Yes. I'm going to say that virtually every time, but it's close. It's very close. More importantly, though, it's got some bulk. It's got some girths. All right? It's curvaceous. It's got a lot more going on for ergonomics and comfort, from my standpoint, than the Axis handle. As I say that, some of you might have loved this. Some of you have never had a Mac Ratchet. You could go giddily to the truck, grab one from your dealer, and be like, man, I don't like that. Look above you and find an old Mac Axis, and you would love that handle. You'd be like, man, that was so much more streamlined and small in the hand, and everyone's different. Personal preference. For me, this handle is killer. All right, let's take a quick look at said handle. This is a hard plastic, the red. It is minimal in its place. It's basically there stylistically almost, just for the Mac branding. Again, down here at the bottom. As we spin this around, again, minimal. Note why I said it was almost just an aesthetic, style-wise thing, because it extends there. That's about it. Everywhere else, you've got that black, plasticky, rubber-looking stuff, right? You see an extra cutout here, and you think, hey, is that a little different? Well, check this out. This has very good grip. I don't know that you can tell, but if you were to get on the truck or be here in my shop and run your hand across this ratchet, this is producing friction, okay? If I had a bare metal handle like here, I just slide, I glide. This produces friction. This is sort of just slightly more padded. It's almost like a second layer, if I had to guess. And it's right there where you want it. Again, choked down. This is sort of like a spin zone on a screwdriver. Coke bottle curves. It's great. I mean, this is really, really good. I am extremely excited about the 1/2-inch ratchets, which I've not held, I've not seen, I know nothing about, because they don't exist as far as I know yet. But I'm thinking it might come in and be really good for what I personally desire. Now, everything going here, again, this is fantastically good in my opinion, and you should know I'm not someone that hypes things up. If I hated this, I'd be like, man, these idiots, that was so much better. I personally love this. It's great. Okay, now real world use, we'll get some seat time with it, see what we think. Maybe like everything sticks to it. Maybe I try to clean it from time to time and it just like pulls the red lint off my rack. I don't know what's going to happen. Okay, but right now, tentatively, with nothing spilled on it, no dirt, no cleaning incidents, this is great in hand ergonomically. That will not change. The thing is, say that I take this to work, and it turns out Mac didn't test this well, and my anti-seize just eats away at this rubber component, right? This would have been a huge problem with the Axis. This is a fixed handle. You might recall, I was kind of got into the Axis line, and we picked up the limited edition purple, which I really, really like. In part, again, their green's okay. I'd prefer a little darker Stahlwille SK, even like this little translucent old school. But the purple, since Mac doesn't have a blue, it hits home, and I'm also always going to like orange. But without blue, the purple is like, And it really grew on me. At first I was like, yeah, I don't know, and I'd get on the truck and see it all the time, and I'm like, I'm gonna get that. So we did. But with this, your driver stock may vary. Bare metal handle, red, they're probably always going to have. Orange and green are kind of limited too and harder to come by. The purple, it was like truly limited, okay? Orange and green should be restocked at some point. Purple, I don't even know. Problem being, let's say that one day I had to put a cheater pipe on this and I just kind of cut through it. Freak deal, it just cut through my grip. There was no replacement grip. What Mac and what my dealer told me they would do, you know, of course, head kits, yes, but say something freak happened like that, or it's abuse and he knows it and I know it, but he's going to honor it, or he's like, okay, man, I'll just get you a handle. There was no grip. This isn't like a snap-on thing, okay? Snap-on, if I chew that thing up or we drop it in brake fluid or something and it just gets nasty over the course of 6 to 8 years, you can get a new handle. If you're a blue person and they didn't have the power blue, and now they do, you can swap it over to that, you know, an aesthetic upgrade that's not even necessarily necessary by that point. But with the Axis, it was like, well, we'll get you a new handle. Well, what about the purple? Like, it was a no-go. You'd have to hope that he still had one sitting around, or, you know, you could contact another dealer, or you find somebody, or you just have to go online, and then you're buying a whole new ratchet instead of just the handle. And it doesn't have to be that extreme. It doesn't have to be a cheater pipe. I could just love this, use it all the time, and over the years, like, it just deteriorates. You touch it and stuff flakes off of it. It's getting nasty and weird. You are up a creek without a paddle, basically. So with this, if we turn it to this kind of, you're thinking like, what's that metal thing there? I don't know if I'm going to like that. Pay close attention. If we zoom in, that is a Torx fastener. I've never seen this done. I don't know if I should do that here in this video or not, but this handle will come off. So if I trash this thing tomorrow at work, I can tell my guy, granted he doesn't have any handles yet, but if he did, and, you know, in the future he should, I could put a new handle on it. This is one of the big reasons I didn't mind buying red. I eventually would like to switch this to orange, unless, of course, they offer like purple or blue or something else that I like, some crazy, you know, patriotic flag thing that I decided to take a flyer on. It is just a huge upgrade coming from something that you could do nothing to. I also, if you're thinking like, man, why do you have a 9-inch here? Well, I have this 9-inch quarter drive because it was 9-inch. This is also allegedly 9-inch. You'll note it looks like it's not 9-inch, or this is not 9-inch. There's a significant chasm there that's not making sense to you. I had that for an overall length comparison. Right here, my locking flex head, that's going to be a 13-incher. If you're thinking like, man, you should have gotten this flex head as a 13-inch. I typically would, and the reason I didn't is I have this. And it's like too new for me to justify replacing, right? So there you kind of see the difference, 13 versus, we're going to air quote 9 there until we measure this thing. Didn't know that was going to be really important to do, or we would have done it. But that's kind of where you're at, and I picked this because at work I have trying not to spoil my snap-on hauls, because I promised them at 10K. If you really want to help me out here, you don't have to send me money or do anything crazy, just subscribe, because that's created a bottleneck and it makes my life complicated. And you'll see more complication here shortly, but I've got 13-inch flex heads there. My Koken at work in the cart is the long one. This kind of filled a void. It was sort of like the happy medium. Oh, I don't have that. It could be useful. And I do actually plan to take this to work to get expedited, accelerated wear, so I can kind of report back, since this is brand new. I did something to show you how serious I was about trying to make a really good, thorough, pertinent video. I did something I almost never do. I brought something back from work, and it's this, but not in orange. No. This came in a foam set. Okay, at work I have this one, and if you again don't follow all the videos, this is a quarter drive 9-inch. This thing basically lives with a 9/16 socket on it, but it has broken in beautifully. The catch is, I don't have a red standard Axis to show you anymore. It is filthy. It's a very different world when I'm at work and I'm at home. At home, I carefully clean and most of the time clean things up. I don't have time at work. And you wind up with stuff like this. I'm thinking we could probably clean it, but there's a lot of metal dust, grinding dust, dirt, debris, anise, grease, oil, hydraulic oil. I mean, you name it. It's all here on this handle, and it does things to it. And then right there, again, that was originally the low spot there where Mac is embossed. Yeah, that's kind of the red this handle was. Now it's more of a black. They all are going to wind up like that if you don't get to clean them. But I brought this back. I was like, yeah, I'm going to showcase the difference between these two. And again, this is clean relatively, and this is not clean relatively. And there's a marked difference. I also wanted, for the red people, to try and get you like a good comparison. Again, my dealer, he is a red guy. Like, he just wants everything red. It's simple. If you want colors, you're like the bougie extra, and he'll probably literally, when they open orders up regularly, everything will be bare metal or red, and he'll just buy extra handles and swap them. I assume that's what he will do, outside of like a, hey, you know, go get me the 18-inch with an orange handle type of a deal. But it looks like it's going to be the same Mac red. Again, if you're a red person, I think it's going to be just fine. But coming back to this Axis, look at the difference here. You know, roughly the same material length, but as I turn that around, I don't know how best to do it justice. Like, this is curvaceous, voluptuous. This one, it's kind of got curves, but it's like washboard curves, right? It's not as fun to hold on to. And this new handle, again, I say this as somebody on the record of I just like Mac's grips for some reason. I really do like that. It just fits the hand beautifully. Again, I'm typically either way the frick up here or I'm way back here. And I do think this is super close. If I truthfully hold that, I would want just ever so slightly more. Now, maybe we'll tear into this. Maybe I need to do like a part 2 and tear it down. I'd like to kind of check, because there's some things I'm not sure about. We're going to jump right in, though, to this. They said it's reinforced, stronger, and I think you can see why. If this looks like it's thinner and slimmer, it is, right? Our girl here is packing some curves. This one, you know, washboard curves. This one's voluptuous curves. Same thing, the stem, right? Thick thighs. Look at that. There is a noticeable difference there, but where we get to the head connection, again, in theory, a lot of flex heads are going to be the reverse of this. They would have the head come down here between a Y yoke. This is the opposite. The head actually splits. That's supposed to be stronger. But look at the caliber of material here versus that, the girth. It is noticeably more material there. That said, if we come in and we try, let me save that because I'm concerned about it too. I think the heads are super, super close. This one's possibly just a smidge. I do mean a smidge thinner. This is being the older Axis 90, Max 90 in the gloved hand. Now, something I loved about this, you're going to see. Some of you, if we cover that up, because that's cool too, you're thinking like, man, this Max 90 head looks way better. I can't quite put my finger on it. It's just because this one's a little older and used slightly more. No, it is because it does not have the fasteners. You're thinking like, oh yeah, that looks way better. And then some of you, or many of you that are like, yeah, that does look a lot cleaner. And then it dawns on you like, wait, this was sealed. That's what I want in a ratchet, is a sealed head. You know, you might even have to have that mandated, you know, like falling object stuff. But you're thinking like, well, okay, yeah, there's no fasteners here. What's the catch? Split ring. I'm not a fan. If I had to pick, I'm going this direction. This is, yeah, there's probably nothing wrong with it. You know, many ratchets do this. Your Matcos are going to be held in with snap ring and everything. Cover plate, you shouldn't, in theory, have much get in there. I've just always kind of preferred a sealed head, personally. Okay. That's kind of a concern. That's really my big letdown if I had to have one. The other thing, we'll just go ahead and cover it here. This is awesome. This is one of the great Easter eggs in all of tooldom, in my opinion. This selector switch has the American flag in the USA. It's even more glorious on the 1/2 inch. Quarter, I don't think they did the flag, just USA, but it's super cool. Okay. It's just a nice, neat touch. What they've done here is you're thinking like, oh no, they didn't change that, did they? Why would they get rid of that? 90 tooth. Now I know some of you are like, oh well, that's cool, it's 90 tooth, it's going to help me identify them, you know, if they're just flaced down or something, I can't tell by the grip or something. Here's the catch. Others of you, just like with the snap ring design, when you realize, wait, it's not a sealed head anymore, you're thinking, is this made in America? And here's the deal. I genuinely think it is. My dealer's under the impression this is made in Dallas, Texas area, like all their, you know, hardline American stuff. When we come in to the back side, it's got USA on it. It does, however, say made in USA with global materials right here. I don't think that's a symbol. I think this is probably, and again, I don't have any official information. My dealer doesn't have it. Mac hasn't sent it to me yet. There's like no other places I can get. This is brand new, right? I don't have any resources to fall back on at this point in time. So I'm just speculating. This flex head, a fixed head axis. All the axis line is 100% American, made in the USA, gets the flag, except this one. And you're thinking like, no, that's got it. See right there? And you're like, wait, it doesn't have it. It just is, it's on and off, but it's missing the American flag in USA. The head, everything there is USA. And you're like, well, made in USA. As best I know, it's the locking trigger, I believe, is what it would be. I'm thinking on this one, I wonder if some of the handle materials were sourced, or it could just be made in the USA and they're like, oh, you know, the flag was cool, we're going with 90 tooth, we're really proud of that. I don't know. I'm speculating, I'm guessing, I don't have official insights. I can't tell you. But as best my dealer knows, which is who I've got to rely on for this thing, if we were to break in Tuesday afternoon, there should be dudes and chicks making Max90 Ratchets somewhere outside of Dallas at the plant, right? So, the other small gripe I have, if you notice, as I hold this chunk up, okay, where my index finger is patted there, we've got the part number. You'll see this is kind of, I think, because of the way the handle is going to slide on and off, you'll note it's not here. I kind of like the part number sort of being right there above the handle. You can see it there instead of up here, but again, I think it's probably just to protect it a little bit or something. But all that aside, we've got to do this. We've got to see what this girl sounds like, right? Nothing crazy sound-wise, you know, 90 Ratchet. What you're not picking up on when you listen to that is this. I want you to watch as I'm going to turn this 90 degrees towards you and then back. There is very, very little reset there, and that is a huge deal to me. I've got a lot of ratchets that, you know, are very nice. They've got the tight swing, but then to re-engage the tooth is where you lose it. And this is a very, very quick, very solid re-engagement. I also am going to do this for you, okay? I'm going to take this guy and hopefully punch that on. Watch the tag. I'm going to change directions, okay? You can hear it, and you can see if I center that, I guess that's as good as it's going to get. See how it moves a little, okay? Check this out. Hopefully we don't tear this, but I'm going to punch this in, get her squared up. This directional switch, very robust. This thing feels incredibly strong, and that's mirrored when you actually articulate the switch and when you see this packing tag or card, whatever you want to call it. You ready? Like, it's significant difference, and then it's quite the struggle to get that there. But watch this, like going from as flush as I can make it, you know, with that split in the packaging, what I'm trying to center. This is kind of what I'm referencing there. Watch this jump. Are you ready? Like, it's engaged. All right. That makes me think this is going to be a very, very strong and thereby hopefully long-lasting ratchet. I'm going to dial this in again, trying to center this crack in the packaging, and watch this as we switch directions. It's jumping, but it's not violent. I mean, this is like you're in a stock trans and you've got like the shift kit that your buddy modified. Okay. I don't want to say violent, but it's approaching that level for a direction switch on a ratchet. And I personally am a huge fan. So we've just about hit 30 minutes. That's why I kind of stopped there. I don't have much time left on the card, which is another concern. But we need to get this back up with our 13-inch and go head to head here. I'm thinking if people really want like the mics brought out and the scales, which I actually intended to do off camera and give you the numbers on, I might just have to do a follow-up because, again, you're dealing with a man that hasn't eaten anything, and I've got to be back at work. And luckily, there's no like tornadoes like last Friday. But this is almost negligible, I would say, Mac versus Mac. I'm going to come in, and you'll remember this little gem, right? A little selector switch that never works. There's times I think I get it like that. Oh, hey, 3 in a row. Look at you, Matco. You decide to behave on camera. If I jostle the head, I can usually get it, but like this thing is still a nightmare. I basically leave it in open, free form, if you will. The Matco is just a hedge slimmer. Again, it is noticeable. And again, this is the snap ring design. Your gear wrench are kind of the same setup. I'm not a huge fan. They tend to have more play. I prefer a sealed head, but that is a direct tool truck versus tool truck there. What I'm going to do now, again, trying not to spoil snap-on videos I've had recorded and ready to go. Remember that spill at the start of the video? I've had those things ready since like June of 23. And we're just going to call this, I'm going to very discreetly do this. This will just go with SO80. Not that that would have any connotation on anything, but you'll note the axis is thinner, the Max90 is thinner, as is the axis. But if I come in over here, we'll just call this SO100. And just know SO100 was out almost as early as this guy. And that video has just been locked away behind a subscriber count goal. Again, where this was just a smidge smaller than the D80, we'll call this just a smidge maybe bigger than the C100 from Company SO, right? Which may or may not mean anything, you know, we'll just find out at some point in time. So they're all very close, essentially, is what we can take away from that, right? Some are a little bigger, some are a little smaller, but they're all kind of in that ballpark. From there, let's jump to Germany, shall we? We'll come in. You're thinking like, they don't have flex head ratchets. Well, Stahlwille doesn't have a true flex, but they have a locking flex, and it's going to essentially be the same. That's almost spot on there. Again, if you really get into this and you're like, man, I wish that guy would have mic'd that for us, I can when I have time. Coming up next, you're like, oh, Mr. HP90 is going to... Remember, HP90, what's the issue with it? They don't make flex heads yet. I hope they do. I really do. But I do have this old school 3H drive, fittingly. Has that very floppy head. It's not a locker. It's a true flex. And again, Max90 gonna be a little thinner. All right. Now you're thinking like, okay, well, you know, that's about it for Germany. Let's jump over to Japan. No, 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 my friends. We have this odd duck that not many people know about that's phenomenally good, believe it or not. That's why you see all the wear and tear. If you go head-to-head, Max90 is a little slimmer, but again, add sort of like your directional switch, which is actually this, and this cover plate here, and yeah, the Gedore is going to be a bit beefier. So we'll toss that down. Now, we've got to jump over to, you know what, let's go halfway. All right, there's one I skipped over. This is not a flex head, but this is absurdly slim. It's still, I think my slimmest ratchet. This encapsulated Duralast looks really cool. It's nice for batteries, so I don't like arc anything, which I've been known to do in my youth. The Max90, not that much bigger. But again, if you need something stupid slim, that's kind of my go-to. One I jumped over, I don't have a 3/8 flex from SK. My flex is quarter drive. This is an LP90, been on the market quite some time now. Shocking how time flies. Very, very close. Now we're going to jump to Kokenville. This is my little guy. This is kind of like the Koken versus the Mac, right? I think this actually does kind of fill a void. If you're like me and you slowly accrued a alarmingly high number of ratchets and you're looking for a justification, the 9-inch might be your ticket, because you probably got 13s and 18s already. So 9 and a flex and 3/8, it's kind of a interesting spot. But our little Koken Z series, this was my go-to Koken. I'm gonna say the Max90 might again just almost negligibly edge it out. However, a better comparison gonna be over here. Once I got the longer one, it became my go-to Koken. And again, if you're thinking like it's gonna be the same head, yeah, it is. But we can do this, and this, my friends, is what matters, right? Look at that gloriousness. All 3 ratchets perfectly justified, because you never know, you know, when this is too long and this is too short for the leverage. Goldilocks there in the middle with her voluptuous curves is just the ticket. So, again, fear not if you wanted the 13-inch flex and you've already got some. Do you have the 9? You're welcome. Purchase justified. You don't have a problem at all. Coming in next to KTC. This is not a flex head, but it's a Roto, and it's the closest I have. It's also very compact. This is the Goldilocks of that lineup, the midpoint, if you will. Max90 right there with it. If we come in now, you're thinking like, what is left that's a flex head ratchet? And keep in mind, you're dealing with a guy that, as up until a few short years ago, I had no flex heads. I had fixed only, outside of work stuff. Nepros right here with the spinner. Gonna be like almost identical. Again, a great video would have mic stuff, which I could sit here and do and drag out forever. I wanted to do it off camera and present it, but time constraints. They are a real deal. Now, while we have this, and before I forget, if I can find a tape measure. Where are you, Stanley? We're gonna go Stanley here, right? You know what? We'll come back to it, because we've got to do socket fitment. I'm going to turn around right here. We're going to go Craftsman, because why not? Oddly enough, I've found that Craftsman sockets almost always fit everything ridiculously good. So again, this is with the new design, which I'm a little leery of. That's the only real red flag initial thing I'm against. That's great fitment. What I'm excited about is how this thing will break in based on what that little guy did. And one of the purple 3/8 fixed, I've used way more than these. I'm excited, very, very excited. Sticking with deep, we got a 9/16 from SK. This isn't popping like my others, and I like that. We'll come in now and we'll go, this is a Proto, right? A standard 12 point, nothing crazy. We'll pop that sucker on. That kind of had that kick, unfortunately. And now I'm going to come, we're running almost out of time here. This is a super shallow Proto, all right? Yes, they do make such a thing. Only in 3/8, I think. Excellent fitment. Watch this violence. Like, pay attention to the text there. Boom. Crazy stuff. All right, up next we've got, yeah, we're gonna go, you're like, yeah, I wish you'd have more old stuff. How about a Bonney? Well broken in. Fits like a glove, as Bonney almost always does. Right here, perhaps the best socket of all. It's a Mopar socket, that is right. Don't believe me? Read 'em and weep. As I was saying before we timed out, read 'em and weep. We've got the Mopar socket here. Fits like a glove. This one, again, actually has the opening slot. Now, coming in, we'll go German here. We've got a Gedore. We have one on the Matco, too. Sounds like somebody's shooting something off over in the distance. That might have been the tightest fit on the anvil so far, but kicked way more than I would like. You see that there? That just has gotten to the point. That stuff super annoys me now, and I don't know why. It never used to. We'll come in now with a 3/8 drive Hazet. I don't think I have a 3/8 Stahlwille socket handy, unfortunately. I do have some Veras They're imported. We're not going to worry about them because, again, I'm in quite the time crunch here. We're now going to go sort of cheap, right? We got an Icon semi-deep. I've actually found the Icon, much like the Craftsman, seems to play nice with almost everything. Again, nothing egregious there. Right here, an Astro swivel. Since we did have, this is metric, okay, since we had the Bonney old school half-inch. That seems to play beautifully. It did kick there as I was extracting it. We're now going to go Japanese. And I'm going to grab this guy, which is going to be KTC Deep. Fit very well. Kicked out there. We're now going to go Nepros. And yes, it's a true Nepros with my blue rubber ring. Man, I thought people would really like that video. And I gauge things terrible sometimes. But to me, it was like, man, that's cool. And then, you know, should have just, you know, uploaded Harbor Freight stuff. But to me, man, you can't tell me, like, that's just stupid cool. If you missed that, you check it out. There's a video a couple weeks ago where we showcased the blue rubber rings, which if you were like, what's up with his ratchet? Styling and profiling there. So, this is where it's going to get interesting to me. Koken. We're going to throw down, this is just a shallow 3/4 Koken. Okay. Note the kick there, right? That's what I hate. It's gotten annoying. But right here, this is something you have to proceed carefully with. This is a Koken socket. You're like, we just did one, bonehead. This is a Z-series socket. And yes, there's a big difference. They work very well with Koken. Other brands, not so much. But kind of gets dicey. We're going to try. Just because we can. Oh, she's not wanting to go at all. And, I don't know if we want to risk this anymore. It's basically, you hear that sound, right? Like the god-awful, like, you ready for it? And it's stopping well short. Yeah. I'm going to write that off for now. I'll play with it off camera. But again, Z-Series Koken. Hope you have a Koken ratchet. It's going to work beautiful there all the time. Everything else, subject to change. The other thing of note here, again, you might have forgotten, it's a flex head. This is super tight. I think that's a good thing. I'm not somebody to complain about that. If I want it looser, I'll loosen it. The fastener of choice there looks to be a T20, maybe? That's what I grabbed here. Yep, T20, that's what you're going to need if you want to make little adjustments. I typically just run them as is, and they gradually kind of loosen up over time, but if you want like immediate gratification, you're going to note this one's kind of done its own thing. This, I want to say, was it a T20? The handle is a T25, right? So T25 fits there, T25 does not fit here. So T20 for your head adjustment, T25 for the handle. And I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to have to clear more stuff off this card, which is kind of dicey in and of itself. And I've got to find a tape measure. Cleared off a bunch of old clips. I'm at exactly 8 minutes and 39 seconds like I was time before. Crazy. That said, if you looked at the part number like me and you were thinking, man, you know, that's strange. It's an XR 1090. Wouldn't that mean 10-inch? Tail of the tape. Okay. We're going to come in. You betcha. That's going to be what I call a 10-inch. That's why it's longer than the 9-inch. So I don't know where that information came from. I think it was like the pre-release stuff. Incorrect. We're going to call that 10 definitively. I didn't measure an 18 or a 13 in his truck and be like, oh, hey, that's 14. I'm inclined to say, based on the part numbers, that they would actually check out. But that does make this really unique because you're going to have a little extra length, but it's not quite as long as your other flex heads, which again, that's kind of nice. Should we take the handle off? Should we strip it down? Should we take a look at the internals? Should we try to put those internals in an Axis? Should we try to put the Axis internals in this one? Should we try to drill it and make a cover plate? I don't know. I want you to tell me what you want to see here. In my opinion, I get tearing them down, looking at the guts, comparing them. I'd rather use it and be like, oh yeah, you know, she broken greater. You know what? Kind of think the Axis 90 was the way to go. I also had a whole bunch of notes I painstakingly wrote down here on the part numbers for you. and that's just going to add a ton of time. This is already long, and again, I'm fighting the my internet is really slow, folks. Like, I can't stress that enough. Let me kind of show you this, I guess. This is like the only thing I can find online. It's very hard to find online. My dealer didn't have anything like it, but that is a list of your part numbers, okay? So your flex heads, we're going to call that a 10. So XR, 10 for what? The length. 90 for what? The tooth count. F for what? Flex. G, run with it. G for green. O for orange. R for red. And S, think of that as just steel in Macland. That's going to be a metal, bare metal handle, smooth fin, whatever, okay? So you can see anything flex minus that 13-inch is going to be comfort grip. So if you're all about the bare metal handle, it's currently not an option for you in the 10 or the 18. Now, standard ratchets, this is 100% available in standard. You're going to have 13, you're going to have 9-inch. So we could conceivably have a 9-inch fixed and a 10-inch flex, kind of an interesting pairing. Note, though, down here, there's a 5 and a 7-inch. My dealer had nothing along those lines. Those are only going to be bare metal. This is what I really want to highlight to you. If you come in and you try to call Mac, or you want to get the grip, or like, I really wanted a grip for this video. I wanted an orange grip. I was going to take it and I was going to put it on in place of the red. We were going to see how it works. Hey, doesn't exist yet, or at least it's not available. X-rated almost is what your part number is. XR. And then RAT, I just think it's like ratchet. And then this is where I told you, remember the GR, you're going to use it later. RD for red, GR for green, OR for orange. I can't make it make sense, but it is what it is. That would be your grip. If you trash it, if you want green, if you just want to have the joy of switching between them for jobs, you can do that. Screw with a coworker and say, man, where's my red ratchet, Johnny? And you swap to a green grip. The world is your oyster. The other very big thing I wanted to do, the repair kit, which will be head only at this point, XR M90 RK. I'm assuming the RK is for repair kit. So that's where we stand. That's what we've got. Again, I really did have the best of intentions. I remembered to bring this home. I just didn't know I was going to be at work an extra 3+ hours on a Friday, okay? And I didn't know I was going to have to go in on a Saturday. It's my internet, I'm telling you, we need multiple hours to upload like a 20-minute video. It's insane, and it is what it is. I'm going to go ahead and do it. I want to know. You probably want to know. It could be a bad idea. I don't know. We're going to come in here with our trusty Witty. That was actually a lot looser than I thought it would be. I'm going to spin this thing off. And again, I don't consider this to be the highlight of the show, so I apologize if that's what you wanted to see. But again, I am a man that does timestamps, so ridicule me at your own caution. There's some Loctite there. Took it off. No issue. And note the gloriousness of that vit. Yeah. There's a reason they sit here on the bench top. This thing just effortlessly comes off. Okay. So there she is, bare bones. We got to dress her up a little bit. I think it's the proper thing to do. So that is custom tailored. You're not going to be able to buy your standard bare metal handle and go to town with that. This is what you're looking at. This is very light. Again, brand new off the truck. Your dealer might say, I don't have an orange, but for you, Johnny, I'll take this grip off and put one on. It could be you trash this somehow. You find out what chemicals it's not tolerant to. And that's effortless. That is super easy. I don't know what they're going to do with like limited edition, special edition colors. That ship, we won't even go into that because, again, I'm under a severe time crunch. But, I mean, this basically just dropped off. So, yeah. I've never seen anyone do this. I've never done this. This is a total cakewalk, and I am sure dealers and Mac fans across the globe are going to be happy at how simple this is. So I'm doing it with a tripod in front of me. So can't be that bad, right? But yeah, T25 down here. If you get this and you're like, good grief, this is too tight, T20 for your quick head adjustment. I love it. I really, really do. I cannot wait to use this thing. I love that it's 10-inch, not 9. If you're like, man, how come, remember back to that point in the video, I'm like, I don't know about that 9 inches there, because I knew that's a true 9. It's a 10. Makes the part number make sense, doesn't it? Feels great in hand up top. Feels awesome in hand down here. I cannot wait to get some seat time with this guy. Again, based on what my Axis Ratchets did break-in wise, it's sort of like the Hazets. They get better. Some ratchets are just great out of the box and don't change. Others improve, others degrade noticeably over time, right? It's kind of a catch-22 there. I'm stoked about this guy. So locking flex heads, not yet. Fixed heads, yes. I kind of showed you quarter and half coming at some point in the future, yada yada yada. We're in a time crunch, folks. I do apologize. Again, I had the best of intentions. If you want to see crazy stuff, if you want me to tear this down and tear an Axis and try to stuff guts and cross compatibility check things and scale it, mic it, all that stuff, really the measurements make way more sense to me than tearing them down, because it could be a big deal to you. Tell me and I'll try to make it happen, but I can't make it happen tonight. I'm going to go and eat a sandwich, maybe see the end of the Rockets and Warriors, start editing this thing, get it uploaded, and I got to go to work in the morning. So it's real life, man. And again, this is why videos this time of year, I'm talking about like leaves in the fall or something from 6 to 7 months ago. That's how I have to operate. But anything in more detail that you want to see, I will do my best to make happen for you. Again, my apologies. I had really good intentions here, and I have ridiculous time constraints as usual. So doing the best I can. Your dealer, I'm not super special, right? Your dealer probably has these as well, or will have them very soon. Jump on board. Some of you might have already bought this. If you did, how do you like it? How do you compare it to your Axis, assuming you're a Mac person? How do you compare it to other brands? You can kind of help people out. I'm a huge fan initially. I've got to see how it breaks in and what it does over time. But like first impressions, aside from not being a huge fan of this change, I love it. I've created more time on the card now, so I can basically wrap this thing up. I don't have to do that again. LoneStarMopars.com is the website. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all three at Lone Star Mopars. If you enjoy this stuff and you haven't subscribed, I encourage you to do so. Again, especially so I can get that stupid self-created bottleneck of snap-on video. There's like, I won't tell you how many, but there's a bunch. But the dumb thing I did, and I take full blame for this, as you can see, I like to compare things, right? It's part of the fun. And when we bring in products from Snap-on, I like to take products of similar stuff, but that's not the real issue. The real issue is then when I was getting other things, I had the Snap-on stuff to compare to it. And that's where we foolishly screwed the pooch. And I've created like a big bottleneck. I don't want to like release those videos and then you see all the stuff in advance. I want it to be fresh and exciting, hopefully. Even though I had stuff that was brand new, like as new as this. And yeah, it's just been sitting there for like almost 2 years now. So yeah, I'm an old channel. It grows slow. It's a niche thing. I get it. Not everyone likes my style. It's fine. But if we could get to the 10K, I'll start releasing that junk and can then have the bottleneck flow, right? It's going to take a while to get to those videos where like I need to show you what I brought in so it's fun and exciting before I get to the other. It's just a mess. I'm to blame, it's not you, but if you want to help, if you want to see me do more idiotic or cool things, depending on your perspective like this, that's an easy way to help support the craziness, right? So I'm a simple guy, you know, fame, fortune, whatever. Guess what I'm going to do with it? I'm going to buy more tools and more cars. Yeah, so that's all I got for you. This, I really do. This is very, very impressive for a first impression, bench impression. The only thing that really is the buzzkill to me is the snap ring cover plate. I kind of like the sealed head with the screws running down. Personal preference, again, the Matco is like this, gear wrench is like this, other ratchets are. It's not necessarily a performance thing, it's just, I guess, peace of mind. I sort of associate, in part, like the Matco, it's like a joystick, for frick's sake. This seems to be far more robust. It must have been, you know, like competently mic'd out and measured. But I'm excited. Again, it's kind of, you hear like a little crunch and gunch here and there. Many of the ratchets are like that, and then they break in. I'm very, very excited about getting some seat time with this guy. In part, brand new ratchet mechanism, but two, the handle. Again, it could be perfect just a smidge longer, but it's very, very good. And again, red, green, orange, bare metal. Anything you want to know, throw it down. I'll try to accommodate it, help you out as best I can. But I dig it. I'm not a red person. I even think this looks pretty good. I think it looks way better than that. That didn't really have enough color on the axis to almost matter, especially when it gets dirty. This is very subtle. It's basically the same way with this extra bit of real estate. I think aesthetically it's a cool deal. And again, in hand, this is just really good. And if you screw it up, if you hate it, if you wish you'd have gotten green, it's effortless to change this thing. It surprisingly feels light. Again, I had a scale that I plan to break out and use, but hey, here we are. So again, mics, scales, weights, more thorough comparisons, tearing down the internals. Tell me, I'll try to make it happen. But for now, I gotta go eat supper. Great first impression. LoneStarMopars.com is the website. You can find us Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all three at LoneStarMopars.com. Again, please help me to get to 10K. If you haven't subscribed and you're here all the time, just as well do it. And then you don't have to hear me complain about the bottleneck, which I try not to do most of the time. But that's it. We'll leave it at that. That's all I got for you. Again, my apologies. Everything seems like you have things laid out and planned out, and then like life happens, and it's little things, but it time crunch. You know how it goes. It's life. All in all, it's pretty good. We got a brand new ratchet, and I'm not dead, so I really can't complain too much. It's all just trivial stuff, but hope you enjoyed. Hope you learned a little something. Again, for those of you that have picked this up or handled it on the truck and said no, why? How does it compare? What are you thinking? Again, nobody's going to have more than like, would you believe I just got off the phone with a customer and it's Friday night, almost 10 o'clock. Good times. Yeah. Now, like I said, I really can't complain, but man, time crunches suck. And with that said, I hope you enjoyed. Jump your charger across the creek, ring the bell. YouTube just might notify you. We got new videos every Wednesday and Saturday, usually recorded half a year in advance, sometimes cranked out haphazardly the night before at the last minute. But it is what it is. I enjoy it. I hope you do too. Most important thing, I hope you have a good weekend, and I hope I catch you back for more from the shop.